Tatum Tilton, and today on AU in View Talk, we have Mary Frances Gualandri, a senior at AU and a self-published romance author. Thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
And let me just start off with, how did you get into novel writing?
I started writing, actually, I kind of been writing all my life, but I really started after my grandpa died when I was 8. It was very sudden, and I really needed a place to project my feelings, and novel writing just seemed appropriate, and I have been doing it ever since, essentially.
Oh, that's really interesting. And since you are a romance author, what is your favorite thing about writing this genre?
Romance is all about the journey of of two people to finding love, and writing and creating that journey is probably one of the most interesting things I could ever imagine to write, because it can be so epic depending on the two characters you create.
And I'm sure that helped a lot with after your grandpa's passing, or is that when you started?
Not romance. I kind of dabbled.
Okay.
I dabbled in other genres, but romance I settled on when I was about 14 or 15.
And what challenges did you face when you decided to self-publish for the first time?
Money was a huge one, because I was in high school, so I didn't really have much of a job, and that was a little tough for me. And yeah, money was the biggest one, but also the stigma that comes with being a romance writer was huge in general. At my age, I was only 18, so people were a little shocked, I think. But those were the biggest challenges, so they weren't huge. They weren't really detrimental to me.
Okay, well that's good. And what was the best part about getting your books published and available to the public?
Seeing your books online.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's got to be really cool.
It's really cool. You just see your name and you're like, I can click on myself on Amazon. Like, that's really cool. And also, I had sent press releases out to local papers. Only one had picked it up, and I saw my name in the newspaper. And
oh, that's so cool.
It was the coolest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
That is really cool. And can you give us a brief summary of your first published ebook?
Sure. Helen Heels came out in 2013, and it basically focused on a publishing magnate who falls for an architect who is working for his company. However, besides being a detrimental, possibly detrimental office romance, he also has an obsessive family friend who's kind of after him.
Oh, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of an odd little book. I've gotten better since then, I promise.
I'm sure you have. And can you describe the book you are currently working on?
Currently, I'm working on a book called Dreams, and Dreams is actually my first foray out of the romance genre, and it's a saga novel centered around a music producer named Steve Clayburgh, and it follows him over the course of 40 years and kind of what the whole rock and roll industry does to his life.
Oh, very interesting.
It's very interesting.
That is very interesting. And will you try print publishing for your novels one day?
I'd love to. I've been working on it, actually.
Oh, that's good.
But I've been rejected a few times. But I'd love to be a hybrid author, which is obviously a combination indie author and traditional author. I'm working on that because a lot of the authors I love are hybrid authors, so I'd love to do that.
Oh, interesting. And what advice can you give to other young authors who are thinking about publishing their work?
I would say the biggest advice I would give is to just know about self-publishing when you're going in. I think you need to do a lot of reading on it. I think you need to know it isn't the easy way out. It's just as hard because you're putting all the work into it.
And where can people find your books if they are interested?
If they're interested, Amazon is probably my biggest outlet where I sell books, but Barnes & Noble, most other ebook retailers have my books. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That was very interesting.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for this episode of AU in View Talk. Please visit auspartannews.com for more news on the AU community. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.